Computer. Well, hello everyone. We're now recording, we're now live, and it is our first session on effective leadership. So session one, and the lesson today is called What is Leadership? What is leadership? So I'm going to go through a basic definition of leadership, and then in the subsequent weeks we will look at how to define, develop, and increase our leadership capacity, our ability to lead. And I'll try and make it as practical as possible, but I also want us to think about things too in this course. Leadership's a buzzword at the moment, isn't it? Everyone wants to be a leader in business and in church. Everyone's talking about leadership. And most people want to be better leaders. That's why you've signed up today. That's why you're up early on a Saturday morning, because you want to be a better leader. Praise God. And if you type leadership into Google, you get 4 billion websites, 4 billion websites talking about leadership. Okay. Now, let me tell you straight up from the beginning right now, I believe with all my heart, every single Christian is called to leadership in some way. Every single Christian is called to leadership. Number one, every one of you is called to be a leader. Okay. Number two, I believe that every one of us can develop our ability to lead better. Some people are naturally better than others. They're just genetics. It's just a component in their life. They just have that as a natural ability. But whatever your natural ability is, you can develop it. Some people are born genetically stronger than others, but you can develop it. And some people are born better public speakers than others, but you can develop it. Some people are born better leaders than others, but you can develop it. Wherever you're at, you can develop it and be a better leader. I believe that true leadership should always be without fear and without guilt. We should not be bringing fear and guilt into our leadership. And this is really important in the church, because there has been, historically within Christian leadership, there has been fear. God's going to get you if you don't tithe. God's going to get you if you don't come to church, or guilt used. And it goes both ways. People try and lead the pastor with fear and guilt. I've had people try and manipulate me and intimidate me into doing what they want. Leadership should be without fear and guilt. And fourthly, I believe that the better a leader you become, the better a world you will create. It's one of the most important things we can do to make this world better. Okay, the chat's suddenly taken off. Praise God. So good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Allison. Morning, Kelia. Morning, that's me. Morning, Teresa. Morning, Helen. Morning, Abimbola. Morning, Barbara. Morning, Maria. Morning, Alan. And morning, Fortune. So good morning to everybody who's here. We're really glad you're here. Good morning to everyone who's watching this time shifted and later. Good morning, or maybe good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day. Hello. That's what I always start on the TV program, because I don't know when it's going to be watched. Hello. Okay. So you being a better leader makes everyone's lives better. I'm just going to move my notes here so I'm not like switching my head around all over the place. Okay. The whole world gets better when you become a better leader. And when all of us in the church become better leaders, the church rises and falls on the character and wisdom of the leaders of that church. Okay. And so you developing leadership capacity will change your life, every area of your life. It'll make you a better mom, make you a better dad. It'll overcome weaknesses you have. It'll help you do your work better. It will make you make more of an impact in church. Most people never take the time to develop their leadership capacity. And the number one reason why people don't, the number one reason why there's less people on this, there's 18 people here today, but when I was talking about faithfulness last week, there was about 40 something, partly because it's slightly earlier in the morning, but partly because a lot of people don't realize, and you tell them, they don't realize they're called to be leaders. They think leadership's not for them. So because they don't think they're a leader, they don't want to work on leadership things, because they're not, it's not me, I'm not a leader. This is for leaders. This is an absolute myth. Okay. Leaders are made. You're not born a leader, you're made. You develop the capacity. Okay, like I said, you get some genetic capacity to lead, but it's not set in stone. You can develop it. You can build on it. Okay, some people are born with some skills that make them naturally a better leader, but it doesn't matter they might have a slight head start. That doesn't matter. We can all develop. We can all improve our leadership capacity. And coming on this course in the next few weeks, I will teach you how to develop your leadership capacity and make you a better leader. Now, we have to, at the very beginning, say leadership is not a title, okay? They're not the same. Having a title, I'm Pastor Ben, okay? That's different, okay? A title without leadership capacity is bad. I've done that before in my life. I've given people a title, and I found out they didn't have any leadership capacity. They looked like they did, but they fooled me, and they had no leadership capacity. And that was bad for the church and bad for the people around me and bad for everyone. Just having a title without capacity doesn't help anyone. The title is the lowest level of leadership. And in church terms, it's not even leadership. In a business, it can be leadership because you mess with someone with a title, you might not get paid or something. But really in the church, it's not. Not in a good church, not in a healthy church. Leadership does not come automatically with age, okay? You know, if you don't make good choices, age comes with nothing. If you don't learn from experience, then all those extra years don't mean anything. If you're still repeating tests at 70 that you should have learned at 40 or 20, age doesn't matter, okay? So leadership doesn't come with a title, doesn't come with age, and you don't need a title. You don't need a position. You don't need an official position in the church to start developing as a leader. No, start developing first. Start developing first. And then when opportunity opens a door for you to be in official capacity as a leader, it's too late to start preparing then. You need to prepare now. You need to invest in yourself now. You need to develop your leadership capacity now. And every one of you, my biggest challenge for you to this first session is to make the choice. I will make choices to do things to develop my leadership capacity. I mean, just by coming here on a Saturday morning, you've made that choice. You could be, you know, in bed, you could be out at McDonald's eating a McDonald's bacon roll or something, but you're not doing that. You're here. You've signed up for this module. You're here, and that's a great start. And what I'll cover in these sessions is really what I think are the essential basics of leadership. And we'll talk about character as well, because I think character, integrity is an essential basis of leadership as well. But really what I want to talk about is capacity of leadership, okay? And so the foundation of the foundation of the foundation of everything is, what is leadership? What does it mean to be a leader, okay? What is leadership? And I'll give you a one-word definition of leadership, okay? And leadership is not anything more than this, and it's not anything less than this. Leadership is influence, okay? Leadership is influence. That's the bottom line, okay? It's nothing more than influence, and it's nothing less. It's the ability to influence others, to influence the choices they make, to influence how they do things, what they say. That's leadership. And if you are influencing other people, you're a leader. That's why I'm saying everyone's a leader, because we all influence other people. But we can deliberately choose to make choices that influence people to make the world a better place. And so this task of influencing others, being a leader, I break it down into three tasks. Sometimes I get a stool, and, you know, when you need every one of those three legs on that stool to hold it up. If you're missing one, then it won't work. You need these three skills. This is the task of leadership. This is the three things that make you an influencer. Number one, you need a vision. To be a positive influencer, you need a vision, okay? You need a vision. Tell someone who's sitting next to you, you need a vision. If there's no one sitting next to you, just tell yourself, tell me, you need a vision, okay? You must have a place to go, all right? A better place. If you don't have a better place to go, if you don't have a vision that life can be better, your family can be better, your workplace can be better, your church can be better, then you're not a leader. So you need to develop a vision of a better something, okay? I believe that church can be better than the way it's been done in this generation in the UK. I believe in a church that is better than what it's at. More glory, more gifts to the Spirit, more word of God, more victory, more life, more genuine love, more community, multi-ethnic, small groups, big groups, biblical-based church. I believe that church can be better. That vision makes me a leader, because, well, that's interesting. I want to be part of this. I want to know more about this. So number one, you need a place to go. Number two, you need a plan. A plan, okay? You need a plan. It's more than just having a dream. You need a plan. In other words, okay, that's great that this is your dream, Ben, about church that's better, but how do we get there? And what's the next step? The most important step on any plan is, what's the next step? Okay, my sat-nav winds me up. You know, you put the sat-nav on, and it always goes, turn left and leave Tallow Close. That's my street. Turn left and leave Tallow Close. Turn left. That's always the first step. If I don't come out of my close, then I can't go anywhere. I've got to come out of my close first. And so the first step is always the most important one. You'll never take that. If someone consistently has a dream of better, but also knows the next step to take, then that person is well on the way to being a leader. So you need a dream and you need a plan. How are we going to get there? Okay. So you need a destination and a plan to get there. That's what you need, okay? And but you need more than that. You need one more thing. And what is that? It's relational skills. Relational skills. I see more leaders fail on relational skills than any other thing. You need relational skills. You need more than a destination. You need more than the plan, but you need to be able to relate to people that they want to follow you. Okay, so I mean, relational skills is a huge area. Your communication skills, yes, but also your integrity, your humility, the way you treat leadership, the way you treat your leadership, the way you treat the people you're leading. All of it ties together, and it's about making people feel safe and confident that they can follow you. If you're going to your destination and you've got a plan to get there, and it's the best plan in the world, it's a beautiful destination, but nobody wants to follow you, you're not a leader. You're just someone going on a walk. So those three things are the three most essential skills of leadership: a dream, or qualities of leadership, say like that, a dream, a plan, and relational skills. And so that is the breakdown of leadership. It's a skill. So leadership is not godly or ungodly. Does that make sense? It's a skill. It's morally neutral, just like TV. TV is not godly or ungodly. You can watch ungodly things. You can watch godly things. But it's actually neutral. Leadership's neutral. You could lead people to a better place or a worse place, okay? And so I hope you've grasped that. So, for example, if you can get people to follow you, Hitler was a leader. He influenced people. Many, many, many people were influenced by Hitler. He was a leader. At one point, he had more influence than anyone else in the world. That makes him a great leader. Osama bin Laden was a leader. But in the same way, Jesus Christ is a leader. It's just about influence. But the question is, what are you influencing people to do? You say, I want to be a leader. Yeah, what do you want to influence people to? What do you want to influence to do? Winston Churchill was a leader. Martin Luther King was a leader. Margaret Thatcher was a leader. But all of them had different skills, different value systems, different places they wanted to take people to, but they all had influence. They all had somewhere to go, a way to get there, and a way to communicate that in such a way that people wanted to follow them. Okay, influence is the foundation, the essential foundation of leadership, influence. And it breaks down to those three areas. Okay, I hope that's helped everyone there. It's a good start. So when you realize this, then it's obvious, it should be obvious that leadership's not a title. There are many people with a title who don't influence anyone. Nobody's influenced by them. But there are people with no title, but they influence lots of people. You don't want the title. Okay, everyone wants the title. I want the title. It's very immature to want the title. What you want is to be the kind of person who influences others for good. Every time you meet them, you influence them for better. Okay, so stop hunting titles and work on developing your capacity to influence and to lead. Otherwise, you see, here's the worst thing. You chase a title, whether it's in business, whether it's in the church, you get the title, and guess what? No one's going to follow you. Because you're going to be influenced when you got the title, because you haven't developed your capacity to have a dream, plan, and then relate to people. Okay, I know pastors who have been given churches, and no one in the church is following them, and it's driving them crazy. Or what if you get the title you want, but you might get the title you want, you might get the position you want, but you can't change the world without leadership capacity. So I want to teach you over the next few weeks how to develop your ability to influence people, help you understand how it works, help you develop your ability to lead, and give you some skills and abilities that make you a better leader. So let me give you a few points about influence that everyone needs to know, okay? Are you all with me here? We're all in a good place. Okay, good. I'm just assuming you are, okay? Number one, everyone influences someone. All of us are influencers. Sociologists did a study, and they found out the most shy people on the spectrum of shyness and introversion and all that kind of stuff will influence in their life 10,000 people. That's the lowest level of people you're going to influence in your life is 10,000. That's quite remarkable. Every day you influence other people. Every day you're influenced by others. Therefore, every day you're a leader and every day you're a follower. In any given situation, you get a group of people together on a Sunday morning in church, for example, everyone's influencing each other. When my children were little and we're getting ready for church, okay, I'm the dominant influence, okay? I'm going to tell them that they're going to eat what I tell them to eat for breakfast, okay? They're going to wear what they're going to wear. I tell them to wear what they're going to wear. But then they go to church and they go to Sunday school, and now they're influencing their peers. And then when the Sunday school teacher gets up to teach, hopefully that Sunday school teacher is the dominant influence and influences the children to behave and learn about Jesus and so on. And then after church, there might be an older child who's the dominant influencer over my children in the lobby while I'm doing my stuff, pastoring stuff, until we go home. And then back home at lunchtime, mum's now the dominant influence. This is what we're going to have for lunch. This is what's going to be eaten. So in just that short little trip to church with me and my kids, there's loads of different leadership structures going on. There's loads of different influence going on. Okay, and if you watch carefully, then you will be able to see the dominant influences in a group. And it's got nothing to do with titles, nothing to do with position. You look at who influences who. When there's a problem, when there's an issue, whose opinion is held with honor, who's given most value, the most respect, who when information comes out, who do people look to for a reaction, who is agreed with the most quickly. When you start answering those questions, you find out who's truly leading and influencing any group of people. And you have influence in this world. You absolutely have influence in this world. Okay, you influence people every day. But what we want to do now, which might be new to you, it might have never been something you've done before, is actively, consciously develop your leadership capacity. Why? Because I want you to influence more people, because you're born again. You know Jesus. And I want you to influence people to get born again, to know Jesus, to live out the kingdom, to walk the kingdom life, to get involved in this kind of stuff. Okay? I want you to be helping people grow in Christ and influence people in Christ. Okay? Because we can influence people for good. So number one, we all have influence. Okay? Maybe you don't realize that. You've got to grasp this. You have influence. Number two goes along with that. We always underestimate how much we influence people. We don't realize how much we influence people, how many people we influence, and who they are. We don't know. One of the most effective ways to understand this is for you to think right now, just take a little bit of time and think about someone who really influenced you at a crucial moment in your life. Maybe it was a teacher who really inspired you when you were at school. Maybe it was a preacher who really believed in you. Maybe it was a leader at a Christian camp you went to. Okay, just a significant person who left their mark on you. That person was an influencer. They influenced you to go from one place to another place. They led you there. And actually, your list of people who led you somewhere and inspired you will be remarkably long. When you start thinking about it and putting some input into it, you'll realize it's actually remarkably long. It really is, because there's so many people you influence. We influence so many people. Every one of us underestimates our ability to influence others. On a small level, we're influenced all day. Well, what should I eat at the restaurant? You ask the waiter, you're being influenced. Someone saying something, and it just really helps you. Just a little post on Facebook, and it just encourages you for the day. Simple word of encouragement. You listen to someone's sermon, you read someone's book. All of those things, just simple little things, have influenced us. Some of those things, reading a sermon, might be the first time you read a sermon by that preacher, and you read it or you listen to it, and guess what? It's left a deep impression on you. That's influence. Influence is changing lives, and as Christian leaders, we want to influence people to change lives for the better. We want to use our influence to heal, not hurt, and help people make the choices that do that, and develop our capacity so it empowers people, it blesses people. We don't want to rip people apart or, knock people down. We want to influence them and lead them to that better place. So we need to be able to lead people. We need to have a place to go, and we need to have a plan to get there. The best thing, this is the third point about influence, the best thing you can do for your future and for the future of this planet and for the future of the church and the future of everything is develop your capacity to lead. Do you remember when Billy Epperhart came and talked about money? And he said the best investment anyone can make is not an investment in houses, it's not in stocks and shares, it's investing in yourself. Get some education and learn some stuff. Well, the best education you can get, the best way to educate yourself is educate yourself to be a better leader. Increase your capacity to lead. Invest in your ability to influence. Because if you want to do something great for God, you need help. You need other people to help you. And it's much better if they're keen to help you. It's much better. There are more opportunities for leadership than there are leaders to fill them. So as you develop your capacity, opportunities will open for you in business, in church, anywhere. Right now, I could plant another 6 churches in a weekend if I had the leaders. Okay, so develop your capacity to lead. The question is, when you encounter these opportunities for leadership, will you be ready? Have you invested in yourself? Have you developed your capacity to dream? Have you developed your capacity to plan? Have you developed your ability to relate to others? Have you developed your vision skills, your planning skills, your influence skills? Have you developed your communication skills? Have you developed your ability to respond to difficult situations? When you do that, people will start noticing. People go, this guy's doing something right. I'm going to follow them. And when the people are naturally following you because you've developed your capacity, life is so much easier. I'm a pastor. I've spent a lot of time developing my leadership capacity. I've spent a lot of time developing my communication skills. People have realized this now. And so I get asked to go to places now and teach on leadership. The number one thing I get asked to teach on when I travel is healing. I'm sure you all know that. But the number two thing is leadership. That's the number two thing I get asked to speak on. And there's always more to learn on leadership. There's always more to teach on leadership. And what I love is this. When people grasp this, I can influence other people to walk more in the kingdom of God, to have more love, to have more grace, to be good to each other, to appreciate God's goodness, to worship God more. Then I can make the whole world a better place. And that's the purpose of God for every single one of us. Okay? So that's the basic task of leadership, and that's why it's so important. Okay. What I want to do now is talk about something which I call the step ladder of leadership. The step ladder of leadership. And there's 3 different levels of leading people, 3 levels. The lowest rung is called friendship. And at the friendship level, it's the first level of leadership. People follow you because they like you. Okay? Some people follow you because they just like you. You're just likable. They like being around you, so they follow you. The second rung is called fruitfulness. It's a higher level than friendship. Fruitfulness. People follow you because they respect you, because they want the fruit that you have. You've got fruit in your life. Okay, and the highest rung of leadership is fatherhood. Fatherhood. And people follow you there because you're reproducing yourself in them. So the first step, friendship, people follow you because they like you. At the second step, fruitfulness, people follow you because they respect you. And at the third step, fatherhood, people follow you because they want to be you. Okay? And so you'll never be the third step for everyone. It's impossible. Can't be done. We're all too different for everyone in the world to want to be you. Okay? But you will be for some people. You will be a father to some people. And you will be a friend to some people. And you'll be a fruitful mentor to some people. So some people will like you because you're a friend, other people respect you because you're fruitful, and other people will just want to be you, and you can influence all those people for the better. And it's understanding these rungs. And so one of your goals as a leader is to work out what step you're on with different people and build that step. So the first step is friendship. The first level of leadership is always friendship. Leadership starts in friendship. And a lot of people don't realize that, especially in business. You know, they try people coming in at that second level. You will respect me. Well, it's difficult to respect someone you don't like. It's difficult. It's not impossible, but it's difficult, okay? And so sometimes a new pastor does that in the church as well. I want everyone to respect me. Well, okay, well, let's start on a friendship level, or you won't be able to influence well. So you need to work on your ability to be friendly. You need to work on your ability to make friends. I'm not talking about fellowship here. Okay, I'm not talking about fellowship is who I let into my inner sanctum, my fellows in my ship. Okay, and fellowship is a very high level of influence. You know, I was on the phone to Shane last night and again this morning, and we're both dealing with similar situations. And I want Shane's influence, and he wants my influence because we're fellowship. We're fellowshipping. It's a much higher level. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about being friendly to people, and you influence people better. You know, there's a phrase, you've probably heard it. People don't care about how much you know until they know about how much you care. So you need to be a friend. And a friend to people is like the first step of permission to lead them. You see, all leadership is by permission, unless you're paying someone to do something. But all leadership, and even then it's by permission, because they can quit. So the start of all leadership is this. Someone says, I like you. That's leadership. That's the first level of leadership. Someone likes you. This is something so many people don't realize. Leadership does not start with an org chart. It doesn't start with a title. It doesn't start with any of that. it starts with friendship. That's why your security should never be in an org chart. Your security should never be in your title. Your security should be in your capacity to be friendly and influence others. People will follow a title as far as they have to, but there's no bank in a title. Leadership needs a bank, okay? And we'll talk about this in another session. But, if I do something as a pastor that's a bit strange, then most people in Tree of Life will go, that's okay. We can let Ben do that because over the years, he's built up this bank. He's put investments into us. This is a deposit. It's a big deposit. Well, this is a bit strange, but it's okay because we've got newer people to the church. Behold, because we haven't put the deposits in them. And so the way I lead the newer churches and new people is different from the way I would maybe deal with someone who's been in the Tree of Life for 5 years, 10 years, because I've got a bigger account with them. But that's a different message. But leadership starts with connection. Leadership starts with connection, okay? And so start with a coach relationship. We all want to dominate someone's life and tell them what to do. No. You don't start off with the language, do this. Start off with, well, why don't we try this? Let's do this. You see, you cannot lead people biblically without loving people. And people will not go along with you if they feel they can't get along with you. To get the go along, you need to get along. Okay? Friendship is the first step to influence. And so what do I have to do as a pastor? Create a culture of friendship in the church. Create a place where people are happy to come to church, whether it's church at work or family. And there are times where somebody has directly opposed that culture of friendship. They don't want a church where everyone's friends. They want to inspire doubt and fear, and and I'll deal with that very strongly because I will protect that culture. But when you have a culture of friendship, when everyone in the church is friends, guess what happens? Everyone's friendly. They'll stay extra late to sort something out. They'll go the extra mile. They'll work harder for you because you're friends. So we need to build better friends, and you can't skip this step, okay? You cannot skip this step. You cannot skip the step of building friends with people. You have to learn how to build friends with people. And you have to understand you can't skip this step because you're going to the step where you've got respect, but no, it just doesn't work. The second rung is fruitfulness. So I was just praying to the Lord. Is there anything else I need to say about that? And I said, no, it's okay. So fruitfulness is the second rung. It's not enough you're friends with people. That makes them restless after a while. Well, where are we going, Pastor? Where are we going to get that? Where are we going? Where are we going? Okay. People want to be fruitful. People want to be more fruitful. Everybody wants to be more fruitful. Everyone wants to be more productive. And when someone has a track record of being fruitful, they feel confident that you can make them fruitful. Okay, so sometimes at smaller churches, well, only 20 people. Yeah, but look at Dagenham. I've taken a church to 150. Look at Guildford. We've taken a church to 50. Relax. We're growing. We know how to do this. We've been fruitful in the past and we'll be fruitful in the future. When someone finds someone's got a track record of being fruitful, then there's respect. And respect takes you up a level from friendship to this new level where it's fruitfulness is the key. Someone who is fruitful will be a better leader than someone who's just friendly. It's great to have friends, great to have people, but at the end of the day, it's the fruitful person who will be the leader. And that changes in context. We're at church, we're here to learn the word. I've got a proven track record of teaching the word, so I'm teaching. And everyone's looking to me for the teaching because I'm fruitful in that area. But let's say the cinema catches fire. And the whole cinema is on fire, and there's fire everywhere, and somebody in the church is a fireman. Well, everyone's going to stop looking to me, quite rightly too, and we're all going to look to the fireman because he's got a track record of being fruitful in the area of getting people out of fires. You see? And so you need to build a track record. This is something I feel is really neglected in the church. It's people, well, I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay, you've been a pastor for 20 years, but when you started pastoring, your church was 50, and now it's 25. So there's no fruitfulness. So it's very difficult to respect. You can be friendly, and we can have that lower level of leadership, but really to grow, you need to find people who've done what you've done. When I wanted a coach for my weight loss, I wanted to find someone who'd lost at least 100 pounds because I was looking to lose over 100 pounds. I wanted someone who knew what it was like, not just someone who's been a twig their whole life and just doesn't understand that they haven't been fruitful in that area. I wanted someone who'd done that, and I got someone who's done that, and they've been helping me. You see, you need someone. You see, we all want to be in a team. We love being in a team. Friendship makes the team, okay? Friendship makes the team, but fruitfulness creates the winning team. And as much as we all want to be in the team, we all want to be on the winning team. I mean, that's just human nature. That's the way God's designed us to want to win. He's made us more than conquerors. He's made us champions. He's made us leaders, okay? We all want to be on the winning team, okay? We all want to get results, so we need fruitfulness. And winning always creates momentum. Following someone who leads you to victory again and again is fun. It's great fun. And when people follow you because they don't just like you, but people follow you because they respect you and they respect the results you get, then they give you more permission. It's a higher level of leadership. You get more permission. You can't correct your mate. But someone who's following you and you've done X and they're trying to do X, they will start receiving correction from you. They will start producing things for you. It will be a higher level of leadership. Now, within many leadership circles, people take these two things and put them against each other. And you'll hear teaching on leadership like that. Are you the kind of leader who's a friendly leader, a relational leader, or you're a results leader? And a lot of time and energy is gone into, in the business world, in the corporate world, which is better? Is it better to be a relational leader or a results leader? It's a wrong argument. Relationship is the first step. Results is the second step. It's not which is better. You need both. If you've worked in a place, if any of you have ever had a job, or you've ever been to church, where everyone's stuck on the first rung, okay? Everyone's friends, pleasant, everyone gets along, but nothing ever happens. Then you've got a leadership which understands that friendliness step, but doesn't understand this fruitfulness step. Or maybe you've been to a church, or you had a job where things get done, but everybody is relationally miserable. Then you're working with someone who understands the fruitfulness, but not the friendship. We need both, and it starts with friendship. That's the first step. You need to go relational first and then add results to relationship. And if you do that, you've got a team that likes each other, gets things done. That's your power team. And people will notice you, people will like you, and you've given people a reason to follow you, okay? If we had to pick players for a friendly football match, okay, why am I saying results is better? Right, we're picking players for a friendly football match, okay? Just a friendly match. It doesn't matter. No one's getting any money out of it, nothing else. And you're picking teams and someone else is picking teams. And your first choice, if you pick me or you've got David Beckham suddenly turned up to join us, I know who you'd pick. You might be a better friend with me. You might be my friend. But winning matters. Winning's important. Getting results is part of our psyche. It's a higher step. And having a winner on your team inspires the whole team into producing more. And it's just great. So we start off with that friendship step, but then we have to go up to that fruitfulness step. Get something done. Learn how to do something in your life. Get it and learn how to communicate that with people. And then you have a higher level of influence with them. Okay, now if you only ever become a friendly person and a fruitful person, and you develop the three things I talk about, have a dream, have a plan, develop relational skills, people will say you're a good leader. People say that person is a good leader. In fact, people will say you're a great leader. That's how simple leadership is. You'll accomplish a great deal in your life, and people will consider you success. But there is a higher third step. Specifically, me speaking about church now as a pastor, we have a higher calling than doing stuff. You know what a higher calling is than doing stuff? Okay, it's building people. Okay, building people. Okay. So there are many leaders in the world right now, good leaders, differences in style, different backgrounds, different dreams, different plans, different ways of getting there, different ways of relationship with people. But one of the things that says this person's not just good, they're not just great. This person is a genius leader. This person is a genius leader. It's they make that third step. And the third step is this, right? First step being friends, second step, getting stuff done. A lot of people don't get stuff done, so they never get into the second step. But the third step is getting people developed, helping change people. People do not become genius level leaders, the top level leaders, because they get things done. They become genius leaders. A genius leader empowers and releases other people. We need to develop the skills to reproduce ourselves in others and help people not just do something better, but be a better them. Okay? That's the highest level. That's why I call it fatherhood, because there's something of your DNA and life that goes into that other person. People know they've been around you because the way they talk, the way they do things, they've been influenced by that person. Okay, and that's important. I'm not talking about clones. Okay, I'm not for Stepford Wife's Church where everyone walks the same and does the same, but there should be a shared life in the leadership of the church coming from the senior leadership. And it's the same in business, and it's the same in all sorts of different scenarios. And that's really a genius level leader. They reproduce other people and release them into what they're called to do. And that's the highest level of leadership. Once you release someone into something, then that's the highest level of leadership. That is a deep respect and honor, and you've got influence over that person. Okay. Now, these rungs work in every situation in your life, these 3 rungs. And it works in life, in your family, at work, at home, in church. It's just a picture of how leadership works. And it's the pathway for you to enter into leadership. And you're in a different level, a different step with different people. Okay? But the more people you can take a step up with, the more you can influence people. Don't ever abandon the lower steps when you step up. When you start getting results with someone, don't stop being their friend. Don't stop working on friendship. Okay, I work on friendship as best I can with my time with all the pastors in the Tree Life family. Let's go out for dinner together. Let's do this together. Let's see how they're doing. Let's have some fun together. Okay, if you try and jump over a step to speed things up, right? Let's just jump into getting stuff done. You're going to have to go back down a step and sort that out at some point. Otherwise, the leadership will be wonky. Every time you start a new job, every time you meet a new group of friends, every time you join a new church, you go right back down to the bottom. Nobody knows you. You've got no leadership there. You're going to have to start again. And once you get to a step, you're always going to have to maintain that step. There's no permanent leadership. You don't buy leadership. You rent leadership, and you pay the rent every time you meet someone. You got to keep paying the rent and keep building those friendships and keep getting results and keep fathering people and keep loving people. Okay, there's no permanent leadership place. And once you can step up and you can step down. And stepping down is always quicker than stepping up. But you can use this picture I've given you, the step ladder. Step 1, friendship. Step 2, fruitfulness. Step 3, fatherhood. Step 1, people like you. Step 2, people respect you. Step 3, you reproduce yourself and others. You can use that to work on being a better leader. So you meet someone new. Where are you on the step ladder with a new person? Nowhere. You're nowhere. So what we're going to work on, we're going to be friendly with them. Build a connection. It's amazing how many people trying to get me to respect them, but they don't build a connection with me. This is what my ministry does, brother. Okay, back off. There's ministries all like that. I got an email the other day, and some of you get similar things. I run an orphanage in Indonesia, and there's 74 orphans, and I got this. Give me some money. So they're trying to influence me to take my money, your money, really, because they're influencing me as a pastor, and give it to them for what they do. I don't know them. So they're trying to get me on that second step, really, respect my results, whereas, well, they need to start a relationship. The missionary we give more money to and more resources to than anyone else at the moment is Honda and Libya and Burundi. Well, I've known them for nearly 20 years. And I respect them, but there's a friendship there. I know them. I can trust them. They've got integrity and so on. The two of us met. I met Honda. He was doing a puzzle outside a tent in a field, camping, and I was camping, and I saw him with this puzzle. And I said, this looks like an interesting puzzle. And we solved it together, and we became friends. And then we got into the first level of leadership, and we both influence each other. You see, often you climb it together. Okay? So if you know someone you're on step 0 with, new relationship, start being friendly. You go to a new church, start being friendly. Don't try and tell them, I used to be a pastor in my last church. In my last church, I did this and this and this. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about step 2 because you're not on step 1. Be a friend. Just go in and be friendly. Okay? This is how we need to start. Every day of your life, you're going to influence dozens of people. So be a friend to people. Okay? Just start being a friend. And then as you start building these friendships, look for ways to help make those people more valuable and invest in them. And we can be deliberate about this. It takes a bit of passion, a bit of intention. We can be deliberate. How can I make other people around me more valuable? And then Every one of us has a dream. If you've been at Tree of Life, you know, have a dream, I've failed. You should have a dream, and it should be a big dream. But the only way for you to achieve your dream, if your dream is the right size, then the only way you can do that is becoming a better leader. You should all be declaring that my declarations work and my declarations make a difference. And, you know, the level you reach in life, though, it depends on your leadership capacity, because you need to influence people. Never underestimate how much you can just change the atmosphere of a room just by going into it. A community, a family, a church. How much a church could be better off just because you're there, or a workplace, or a business, or a nation, or the whole planet. So I'm challenging all of you today. I'm nearly out of time. There's no questions yet. If you've got any questions, use the question button. Okay. I want to challenge every one of you today to become a person of influence. That's what a leader is, a person of influence. And I want you to remember you're on different levels with different people. So with some people right now, your influence is increasing. With other people, your influence is decreasing. So you need to focus and deliberately focus your attention on developing your capacity to influence people. And it's best to start with a small number. Don't start with 100, start with 2 or 3, right? Choose 2 or 3 people in your life. And you're going to decide, in this relationship, I'm going to deliberately influence this person. I'm going to help influence this person for the kingdom of God. Sorry, notes are stuck. Try and pick someone who's in part of your career, part of your professional life. And then, you know, financial increase someone. Maybe, you know, something to do with finances, something to do with your financial situation, your boss, a key team member, a colleague, a client. And then someone maybe from your more personal life, your husband, your wife, your parent, your child, your neighbor. You know, sadly, one of the saddest things ever is when mum and dad's just a title, or husband and wife's just a title, and there's no influence in the family. Go and earn the influence of your family. Be a friend to your family. Be fruitful. Get some results that your family care about. If you feel ambitious, pick someone from the church and say, right, I'm going to be a good influence on that person. I'm going to deliberately build a friendship with those that I can help influence that person for the best. And then with that person, just think of somebody, work out what rung you're on. If you're on no rung at all, then that's okay. I'm not on a rung with loads of people. They don't even know who I am. Then you start to earn the next rung up. So if you're no rung at work, you're no wrong with that person, you can't influence them at all, then build a foundation of influence. What's a foundation of influence? Number one, get to know what you're called to do well and do it well. Okay? Just don't neglect your job and go around the office and try and influence everyone else. You start off doing what you're called to do, what you're paid to do well. Do it consistently with excellence. Go above and beyond in that role. Accept liability for your decisions. These are all basics in the business place that really need to be there before you influence anyone else. It's the same in church. Some people want to influence everyone else in the church. We got people at the moment not committed to Tree of Life, don't care about Tree of Life, drop in and out of Tree of Life, and they want to tell me and other pastors in the family how Tree of Life should be run. Well, they've got no credibility because they don't do what they're called to do with excellence. Actively learn how to be a better leader. Read books on leadership. Hang around people who are good leaders. Don't ever rely on a title to be your main source of influence over someone. Or you'll do what I say because I'm the pastor. There's other churches. People will just get up and go to other churches. How do we step onto that first rung? How do we get people to like us? I mean, that's a big question. Number one, value people. People like being valued. Appreciate them. Learn to see what that person sees. Ask them questions about why they do things. People love to talk about themselves. Sometimes I'll meet someone, I'll ask them 5 or 6 questions about themselves. They'll talk about themselves for 20 minutes, and then they'll walk away, and they'll tell someone else. They'll go, man, that guy is so interesting. They know nothing about me. 0 things. What they meant is I'm so interested. And you have to work on that. It doesn't come naturally to anybody. Okay? Care more about that person than the rules. Okay? Sometimes rules is rules, you know. We had a situation recently. People arrived at one of our church services early. It was there. The person was there. The receptionist was there. The hall was empty. And she just sat there 15 minutes. Wouldn't let them in. Just let them stand inside. Because rules is rules. You know, now obviously if the karate club was in there fighting or something or whatever else, then it obviously makes sense you have to stay outside. But it's an empty hall. Does it make any difference to open the hall 15 minutes early or not? Keep people in? You know, it just doesn't make sense to me. People matter more than rules. Be friendly. Include that person in your journey, in your team. Use the we language. And what are we going to do? How are we going to solve this? How are we going to get involved in this? Make that person's success one of your goals. And then all leadership, ultimately, and we'll talk about this in another session, all leadership is serving. There is no leadership that's not serving. So be a servant to that person. You start doing those things, they'll start to become friendly to you. Not always. Not everyone wants to be a friend. But you normally, 90% of the time, you'll build that first level and you'll start to influence them. People want to be like their friends. And then to get onto that second level, well, number one, make sure you're being fruitful. You can't ask someone to respect your fruitfulness if you're not fruitful. Work on being fruitful. Take responsibility for your personal growth, the growth of your career, the growth of your ministry, the growth of your thing. Okay. I thought it was very interesting when we had Tafara. Tafara's got 2 young children, and Charles asked Tafara a question about parenting, and Tafara immediately sent it to me. Why? Because he knows my kids. You know? And he knows what remarkable young men we have. I mean, Lydia's remarkable too. She's not quite fully baked yet. She's only 14. But the boys are men now. And so I have a credibility in raising children. Actually, Amanda does. She did the bulk of the work because of the fruitfulness of that. And so people often come to me for parenting advice. And why? Because I'm on that second rung with them automatically, because I'm fruitful. Be fruitful. It's amazing when people try and get on that second rung without any fruit. See, that was actually part of the condition of the Pharisees. The Pharisees wanted to be on that second rung because I'm a Pharisee. I've been to this Bible college. I have done this. I'm part of this group. I've been ordained by this person. You will respect me. No, you can't do that. Fruitfulness is your place of respect. You shall know them by their fruit. Sarah's just asked to say the steps again from friendship upwards. Okay, so there's 3 steps. Step 1 is friendship. People follow you because they like you. That's the lowest level of leadership. Okay. Second step, fruitfulness. People follow you because they respect you. That's a higher step. And what I'm trying to teach on right now is how to get to that higher step with people. Number 1, be fruitful. People can't follow your fruit if there is no fruit. Be accountable for your results, produce results, and then welcome the other person's achievements. In other words, ask for their input on things. Actively seek them out. Okay, look, I'm doing this at the moment. What would you do? How would you do this? And they'll get you into a conversation, and the respect will grow because they'll understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. And then the third level is fatherhood, influence based on identity. Okay, I'm reproducing myself in that person. And not everyone will invite you to that level. Very few people will. You have 10,000 teachers. 10,000 people who you like, 10,000 people who you respect their fruitfulness, 10,000 people you'll gladly sit and watch for half an hour on the God channel, on the Christian TV. You got 10,000 teachers, 10,000 people. If I said they're going to be my guest speaker on Tuesday, you go, praise God, I really like listening to them, but you only have 2 or 3 fathers. That's what Paul said. Okay, so if you think about it from my point of view, there's a lot of people I influence. There's a lot of people who watch me on TV. There's a lot of people who like listening to me. There's a lot of people who watch me on YouTube. But I don't have that third step influence with all of them. Not in the slightest. Only a very small number. And so it's the same with everyone. Okay? It's not often we get into that third step, but when we do, and all of us should be on it with somebody, you know, at the very least, I should at least be a father to Adam, Joel, Reuben, and Lydia. You know? But you need to embrace the idea that these people are precious. You need to be open and honest with them about how you got to where you are. You need to share your heart with them. You need to give them leadership opportunities and actively give them a place to grow and serve and place that person, help get that person in a place of success. And that's the third level. And that's all I'm going to say today. I've left 10 minutes for you to ask questions. Sarah Akoto has asked about what books to read. Okay, that's a great question. The best book, I think, to read is John Maxwell's book. I'm just going to find the title for you here. Hold on. I thought I'd written it down, but I haven't. Sorry. It's called Developing the Leader Within You. I recommend that book to anyone. John Maxwell, Developing the Leader Within You. Now, he makes leadership a bit more complicated than me. I mean, he travels the world and talks about leadership and so on. What am I saying? he actually has 5 levels of leadership, and he starts with a title. It's more applicable to business maybe, and then he starts with this sort of, he ends with a sort of international super leader of leaders, and really no one needs to worry. If you're worrying about that level, you know, it's really not a big deal. You know, just trying to be, to me, I've stripped that down. I don't think it's as complicated as he makes it. But Developing the Leader Within You has got so much practical information for developing your leadership capacity. I absolutely recommend that book. Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Okay, that's a good book. Sometimes a little bit in that book. It's not. I don't think it's written from a Christian point of view. It's a little bit about being too accommodating. There's times we should be accommodating. You know, if someone likes, there's someone in the church who loves camping. Me, I've camped. I've taken the kids camping. My camping days are behind me. But this person loves camping, and if we get together, they're going to talk about camping. They're going to talk about what kind of tent peg to use and what kind of canvas and what kind of tent and how to do this and how to do this. And man, it's just like, oh Jesus, hallelujah. And I'll listen and I'll love them and I'll care. That there's an accommodation on things that don't really matter. But as Christians, we must be non-negotiable sometimes. And so there's a little bit of, you know, don't negotiate the essentials in that book. But otherwise, a great book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And what I'll do is I'll send out a reading list to you all. I've got your email addresses. Those of you signed up, everyone signed up, or you wouldn't be here. So I'll make sure you get a reading list. There's a lot of good books out there, and there's a lot of good books on leadership. Any of you who are wanting to develop in your field, remember, I always talk about the fact that your influence is in 2 main fields. One is your faith, your Christian field, and the 2 is your career. You know, what your career field, your Christian field and your career field. So for your career field, I don't know what the best book is to become a better doctor, dentist, candlestick maker, butcher, baker. I don't know what is the best one for your career. So go and speak to your boss. Normally, most of these things, it's a conversation to have with your boss or your boss's boss, and say, what book do you recommend? How can you recommend I develop in this area? And most people will want you to develop. Most people want you to move on, and they'll start helping you. Excellent. Okay. No more questions. Helen Shepard said it's helpful. Sarah's asked for the steps of influence. We've done that. Friendship, fruitfulness, fatherhood. Okay. So, you know, I go to a new church, first Sunday there, don't know anyone. So all I'm going to do is work on friendship. I'm not going to let them know, oh, I used to pass the tree of life, I used to do this, I've done this. Just stay at that friendship level, build friends. I want people to like me, be friendly, listen, be a listening ear. Okay, and then somebody's sick in a small group, I'm committed to the small group because that's the best way to build friends. I'm in my living church or whatever that church calls the living churches, and someone's sick and I say, can I pray? And I'll pray and they're healed. Or suddenly I'm now at the fruitfulness level. For a lot of people in the church, I'm at another level of leadership. Oh, you know, you pray for someone, they got healed. Okay, well, how did you do that? And so suddenly there's a fruitfulness. Okay, and then over time, lots of time, this doesn't happen in a day. Okay, some people in that church will say, man, I want to be like Ben, I want to listen to Ben. You understand what I'm saying? There's a progression here, and that's how it works. And people try and jump up these. You cannot jump up these things. You have to continually work at them. Jenny has asked a question: how do you deal with people who seek help but never change? It's really hard, Jen. That's really hard, and that's something every pastor has to deal with and every human has to deal with. You want to influence people, and I want to be better, but they don't listen, they don't learn, they don't take on board what you're saying. It's really hard. And so the number one, be patient. Again, you might say never change, but is it never change, or is it just change going very slowly? Okay. I've been a little frustrated recently. Someone had to have a word with me about, you know, some of my health goals. You know, it's taking time. It's taking us a long time. You know, today I weighed 0.3 of a pound less than I did yesterday's weigh-in. But, you know, you do that for a week and you've lost 2 pounds. You do that for 5 weeks and you've lost 10 pounds. You know, it's just over time. And I see that a lot in church, you know, and that's one of the things I see. You know, people spend 3 or 4 years and suddenly they get grace. They get the grace of God. Suddenly a light bulb happens. It's not a light bulb, really. It's just finally years and years of learning and listening suddenly clicked. And they then expect everyone else to get it in a minute. You know, so that's the first question I'll ask. Is there no change, or is it just maybe slower than you would like? And if it's slower than you would like, just keep moving. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep moving. Build the friendship level, okay? Everything starts at the friendship level. Build a good friendship with that person. You know, friendship's not fellowship. Fellowship's when we're in the ship, we're in together, we're doing the same thing, and very few people have fellowship with, but I'm trying to be friendly to as many people as I can. Jesus was a friend of sinners, he didn't fellowship with sinners. They had no fellowship with darkness, but he was a friend of sinners. Be friendly with these people. And again, it's about when you've got that friendship built up and you get to know that person, you get to like that person, then you need to start addressing the second step. And you need to say something like, look, you're not growing at the moment. You're not changing. Okay, things aren't changing for you. You say you want to change, you want help, but actually you can't. You can't be free from this without doing this. You can't be free from smoking without, you can't be free from that cough unless you quit the smoking. You can't be free from depression unless you change what you're thinking. You can't be free from this unless you do this. And because you've built a strong friendship, you can then drive that across, and you can tell the person quite strongly, you're still in love, speak the truth in love, and say, look, you need to do this. Now, from my position as a pastor, what I do is I will then, and it's not easy, but there are some people I just won't invest time in because I know they're not listening. And so someone will come to me, I really need help. I really can't. Okay, where were you at church on Sunday when I addressed this issue? When I preached and this issue was addressed? Somebody recently phoned me up and asked for counsel. And I told them, you're going to listen to 4 of my messages on YouTube, and you're going to take notes, and then I will give you my time, because otherwise I'm not helping that person. Okay. And so it's not an easy process, but work on the friendship, try and influence someone level of results. And then there's 3 kinds of people you can never help. You can't help people who don't think they've got a problem. You can't help people who don't think they can never get help. They're so negative, they don't think anything's going to change. You've got no faith, no spark of hope. And thirdly, you can't help people who think you're their problem. There are people who think I'm their problem. They think I'm the problem. I can't help them. Okay, you can't help those people until they change their attitude and those things. And never spend, Jen, I'm guessing it's someone you care with, never spend more time trying to help someone than they help themselves. If they're an adult, never do that. I realized this early on as a pastor. I was spending longer trying to find work for somebody in the church, and they were looking for work themselves. That's never going to be fruitful. It's never going to achieve anything. And so I hope that helps. I really do. Praise God. Okay. And then Kay's got a question. How do you become friendly with people who are different from you? Kay, they're the best kind of people to become. They're the easiest kind of people to become friendly with. People who are not like you. Okay, well, I'm trying to think what culture or background you're from, Kay, but, tell me about what it's like growing up where you come from. Man, you're going to tell me something, if I ask someone from Essex, what it's like growing up in the late 70s, early 80s, I'm going to get the same answer I've heard. We're going to have shared experiences, and that's great. But when I ask you, I guarantee I'm going to hear some stuff because you're female, because you grew up on a different continent and whatever else. I want to hear stuff I've never heard before. So it's very easy for me to listen and get engaged. What was it like? We got a guy in the church, I won't name, it was from one of the African nations, I won't name which one, but he was very hard for me to build a friendship with this guy, very hard for me to build a chatting relationship with this guy. And 2 weeks ago I asked him, I said, how's the lockdown going in your country? And I learned a whole bunch of stuff that was happening there that I'd never heard, and he was happy to talk, and it opened the door. So pick one of those differences. Why is that? What was that like? What kind of music did you listen to? Well, how was school where you grew up? People love to talk about those things. And if they're different, it's easier to listen because it's interesting, because it's new to you. And the more you learn, the more you think, I can understand where that person's coming from. So that would be my thing. Pick a difference and find out about it. Okay? Hope that helps. Awesome. Praise God. Well, I'm going to wrap this up now because it's 9:30 and my wife needs the computer for 10. If any of you are part of the Healing University, I tell you what, if you're not part of it, you can sign up. Go and sign up. I tell you, I listened to that first teaching last night of Andrew's on healing, and it's awesome. And this whole course, I believe we're the only place offering it in the UK at the moment. I could be wrong. Wait to be proved wrong on that. But as far as I know, we're the only place offering this in the UK, and it's some very good teachings. That's going to be very exciting this afternoon and this morning. And remember, the stuff this is recorded, this will be available to watch later, but the stuff Amanda's doing won't be, so you need to be in it to win it, so to speak. Okay, love you guys, glad it's a big help. Thanks reading all the codes, that's excellent. We'll see you all next week 8:30 in the morning, and we'll have a great time Let me tell you what we're doing next week. Hold on, I've got it here. We're going to say what is the main task of leadership? And the main task of leadership is actually, you may not believe me, but it is. I'll explain why. The main task of leadership is setting priorities. It's how to set priorities, how to decide what to do first. And we'll talk about all of that next week. Okay, love you guys and see you soon. If you're not registered for church, get yourself registered. There's Watford tonight, Dagenham and Guildford tomorrow, and Brentwood and Dorset in the evening. Cheers. Bye.